sage advice in terms of the recommendation for all CEOs, and especially those newly appointed, to get a coach. I'm a huge advocate of that, and especially when you think that everyone, certainly in the professional sporting environment, has a coach. It's just the paradigm within that industry now. You get yourself a coach and a mentor. Thankfully, it's becoming more common in business, and it's especially important when you think that sports person's success or failure affects one or two people. The CEO's success or failure impacts hundreds, if not thousands, when you take in the direct employees, all of the stakeholders and their customers. So brilliant advice. What do you know now that you wish you had known then going into the role?
You need to make friends with everybody on the board individually. You need to cultivate a personal relationship with every single person on the board. Because if you don't do that, what happens, and I have been on a number of boards since then, but when you put people into groups, strange things happen in terms of group dynamics. And it's easy, especially if you have a scenario like I did, where I had an all-male board and I was the girl CEO, and I really was the girl CEO, because I was 33 when I went to that role, and everybody else started at like 45 and went up to, I don't know, just shy of 80. If you don't do that, group dynamics kind of dictate that you are going to be the minority that gets picked on. And look, that can happen. I've seen that even happen in other boards that I was on the board, where there was a CEO, and that CEO, like me, didn't know that you really need to go around and cultivate a very personal relationship with everybody on the board so that you can wield a level of influence with everyone. I'm sure that is not the standard advice that gets handed out. I've done the company directors course and I don't remember that being in it, but that always talks about how the chair and the CEO need to get on and have a good relationship. And I think that's important, but I think in order to do well as a CEO, you kind of have to have tabs on everybody who is in the board at some level so that you've got influence with them as well. And it doesn't mean that you're always going to get your own way, and that sometimes that is appropriate. You're not always going to be right as the CEO. And sometimes the board is going to have other ideas than the ideas that you have, but when you have board members making decisions about things that you've proposed or things that you've said, as a CEO, you want them to be doing it from a place where they know you as a person, they like you, and they trust your judgment. You don't want to be doing it from a position where they don't really know you and they're kind of suspicious about who you are and what your motivations are.